Welcome to the bar.
In this episode, we'll actually be talking about how we get mail or packages, why we chose the motorcycles that we have right now, and take you on an epic ride to Pikes Peak
in Colorado.
Stay tuned.
So we wanted to talk to you about how we get mail and packages while living on the road full time.
Whenever people find out that we live on the road full time, this is almost always one of the questions that they ask us. So we're going to break it into two parts. We're going to start with mail first, then we'll do packages. So first, mail.
How do we get mail on the road? First, you need a home address or domicile. Then you forward everything to that address.
As we were researching, 3 states were the most commonly used for full-time RVers. Texas, South Dakota, and Florida are the 3 states that have kind of the perfect blend of tax benefits, insurance cost, and licensing and registration that is friendly to people who aren't living in the state. For example, with Texas, we have actually registered all of our vehicles, except for the KTM motorcycle, while we've been living outside of Texas. The RV, the truck, and the other motorcycle. We don't have to do safety inspections until we return back to Texas. Then we have a few days or a week or something that we're supposed to get the inspection done. So very, very friendly if you're not in the state.
You can also do your driver's license online as well. If you lose it, you can apply it online. They give you a temporary one while they mail your actual driver's license to your domicile or your address.
If we had to drive back to Texas every time we did these things, we'd be in trouble. In most states, that's what you would actually have to do. You have to be in state to register and then do inspections and all that stuff. So that's why. Another part of this equation is that you need to pay for a mail forwarding service. And there are several in Texas, as well as South Dakota and Florida to choose from.
So the company that we use is actually Texas Home Base. So what they do, they just scan our mail and get rid of the junk mail, which is very nice, and then they email it to you.
So for us, that mail forwarding service is perfect. We rarely, if ever, need to get mail physically sent to us. We just are happy to let it go to Texas Home Base. They scan it, we get it in our inbox once or twice a week. It's awesome. Even if we ever lived in a house, it would be nice to still, even just getting rid of the junk mail is so nice. The other nice thing is all of your mail is in your email, so you can search for it. It's great. If we do want mail, let's say we get sent a new credit card or something, then they will forward it to us wherever we're at. We just give them an address and they'll forward it to us within a couple days. It's really quick.
Now packages.
Calippo's favorite one, huh? Packages there's a sequence of preferability for receiving packages. Is that a good way of saying it?
Come again?
There's a sequence of preferability for packages.
Preferability. Great choice of words. Yeah. Carry on.
Okay. Our first choice would be to get packages sent to the campground that we're staying at. And many campgrounds are cool with that. You just put the campground name in as care of, and you can go pick up the package at the office or the lodge. And it's pretty straightforward.
Actually, not all of them do that. Some of them, they do charge money. About $5 a package.
Which is kind of ridiculous because they're just handing it to you.
Because some places actually don't have space to store packages for the full-timers, so makes sense.
If the campgrounds don't accept packages, our next option is to use lockers. A bunch of retailers are doing this now. Amazon lockers, Walmart, Home Depot. There really are a lot of options. And so the way that the lockers work is that you can just get it sent to one of those pickup locations. You walk in, you have a code, then you take that code, you type it into the screen on the locker, and then what happens?
Then the locker opens it
Okay.
It wouldn't smack anybody in the face.
Okay.
You have to be very careful.
Okay, good.
And lockers are great. The only downside is not everything can be shipped to a locker. Some things are too big. Yeah, you can't ship illegal drugs to them. I don't know. Anyway. Well, for those of you from Fasico'o that do your marijuana, yeah. That is something
we just grow those. We don't need to send those in packages.
So lockers are great. Amazon also has pickup locations where you can just pick up packages from the behind the counter of Walgreens or Rite Aid or something. I think it's Rite Aid.
Whole Foods?
Whole Foods, it's usually the lockers.
Oh, okay.
But you can also just pick up from a Rite Aid, I think is what a lot of them are. And we do like to pick up our packages on our motorcycles, huh?
Yeah.
Although sometimes that gets us in trouble. Like the one time we couldn't fit everything and Dolly had to wear a machete on the back of her had the stuff in her jacket, and she looked like a ninja driving down the road.
A fat ninja.
Don't kill somebody with it.
Why would I do that? I don't want to go to jail. I'm a nice fluffy ninja.
So after lockers, the next option is to get things held at pickup locations. So UPS, FedEx, and Post Office. FedEx and UPS, you can often ask the shippers to just have things held at a location. If you know how they're going to ship the package, you can just put the right address on the shipping information. So if I know it's going to go to FedEx, I can just put a FedEx location there, and I know I can just go pick it up. And then I don't have to bother the seller to get that information in. If you don't know, and sometimes you don't, then you just guess. We've had phones have to get replaced under warranty, and Apple said, we're going to ship it FedEx, and then they end up shipping it UPS. And so a UPS package ends up going to the FedEx location, and we just try to pick it up the same day so it's not sitting there a long time and they don't know what to do with it. And usually there's a good laugh, and so far everybody's been pretty cool about handling that. For items that come through the United States Postal Service, there is a service called General Delivery. The way it works is you just put your name, instead of a street address, you put General Delivery, and then the city and zip code, and it will just be held at that post office.
Just go give your last name and you pick it up. It's free.
I think they hold it for about 30 days or so. Make sure to check the local post office. Make sure that they have general delivery listed under the services on their website. Not every post office does general delivery. Most do. Unless you're in a big city and there's lots of post offices around, then they'll usually just have one post office that handles general delivery.
General delivery is also where we have our Texas home base forward our mail. Sometimes we use our relatives as well to forward us our mail.
And whenever we're pretty close to a relative, we often bombard them with a bunch of packages that we pick up when we're visiting.
Yeah, my poor sister in Oregon.
My parents too.
Oh, that's true.
Great thing with my parents is they always have tons of Amazon packages, so they don't even notice a difference. The last thing that we would say is that sometimes it's just easier to buy things locally.
If they have it.
Yes. I think in general, I am conditioned to just buy things online because it's easy, but local retailers are catching up on prices.
And to help support those local businesses too.
Yeah, that's it. It might sound like a lot of work, but this is one of those things that is more work than when you just live in a house. But on the flip side, we don't have to pull weeds very often. So there's a trade-off. But it is possible to get your mail whenever you're living on the road. So our family obviously rides motorcycles. What kind of motorcycles do we have?
The Honda and the KTM.
We wanted to tell you why we bought these particular motorcycles and give you a little bit of a close-up look at them. Without any further ado, let's go take a look at the bikes. So today we wanted to share with you our two motorcycles and why we purchased each of them. So this first one here, this is our 2017 KTM 390 Duke. This is our first motorcycle, and we purchased it originally to be a second vehicle that I could take to the airport and leave Dolly and Kalipa with the Jeep and the motorhome. At that time, because we had the Jeep and the motorhome, we needed a bike that was lightweight enough it could go on a hitch carrier on the back of the Jeep. This motorcycle weighs around 320 pounds with a full tank of gas, which was under the 350 we needed to be safe on the hitch carrier. This KTM 390 Duke is pretty widely known as being one of the better beginner bikes and also one of the better bikes for your money. It's got a great engine, it can move, it's fun and it's fast. One thing that's nice about this motorcycle is because of its lightweight, it's very easy to maneuver. It's a lot of fun in the canyon corner roads, and it's just a really fun bike. Probably our main complaint with this bike is it's not very comfortable for a long distance ride, which is why we have this little pad on that kind of helps a little bit. So after Dolly got her motorcycle license and we started looking for a bike for her, one of the things that she expressed is that she would like a bike that didn't require shifting, primarily because she was so focused on trying to be a safe rider and she wanted to improve her road awareness without worrying about the mechanics of the motorcycle. At first, I have to admit I was a little reluctant to the idea. There just aren't very many motorcycles that are automatic. Primarily, it's Hondas and electric motorcycles like Zero and Harley and others that have electric bikes. Eventually, I thought about it and I realized actually an automatic motorcycle makes a lot of sense, especially for commuting. If you're in stop and go traffic, it can actually be a pain to have to deal with the shifting gears. This bike is the Honda NC750X. It's a 2019. We bought it used with barely any miles on it. We got a really good deal. So this one's a bigger engine or a bigger motorcycle. It's about 750 cc's. It's a great, comfortable motorcycle. This bike did exactly what we needed it to. Dolly learned on this bike and she got very, very proficient with riding skills. It got her past that stage of being a beginner and into being an intermediate rider. However, the size of the bike started becoming a little bit of an issue. It's a pretty tall bike, and so Dolly had a hard time planting both feet firmly on the ground. And so because of that, she ended up trying the KTM just to see how she felt about it. And she realized that she actually really liked the KTM. In fact, she even fell in love with shifting and changing gears and all of that. It worked out well because I ended up falling in love with the automatic. I like just rip it and go, especially when I was doing more commuting to the airport and in a lot of city traffic. It's nice to just not have to deal with the clutch all the time. And even on mountain roads like we're on today, it's fun to just kind of relax and not worry about shifting. So a couple things that are interesting about this bike that are probably worth pointing out. One is the storage. So you can see on the back here, this one came with this hard case or pannier. It's kind of a little ugly and it wasn't something I don't know if we would have bought if we had purchased it on our own, but it's ended up being super convenient for us. Like today, for example, we've got extra layers for warmth. We've got our lunch in here. We've got drones and camera equipment. So you can really pack a lot inside of this motorcycle case, which is nice. This one also has a bizarre storage here where you would think the gas goes, and this is a little kind of helmet bin that we use for other odds and ends, like a tire kit and a pump and water and all that kind of stuff. In some ways, this is kind of like the minivan of the motorcycle world. We like it.
So one of the things that I actually really love about the KTM, the Duke 390, is that it's really nice and light. It's perfect for a beginner, like Devin mentioned before. It really taught me how to love shifting. One of the things that we did different that I really enjoyed, we changed the tires from street tires to dual sport type of tires. Helps us to go off-roading a little bit, not extreme off-roading, but give us a glimpse of what it's like. Now we're excited to kind of do something more adventurous, like a dual sport, to go off-roading even more. I do love my solitude.
That is the end of the segment about why we picked these particular motorcycles. Hopefully that was interesting and informative, and maybe it'll help you as you think about what kind of motorcycles you want to ride in the future. For our epic ride today, we're going to take you on a ride through Pikes Peak in Colorado.
Highest mountain in the world.
It's up there. Did we have fun on Pikes Peak?
Yeah.
It was a little bit scary with the wind though, huh?
Yeah, it was. There were sharp turns and the roads were really narrow, and with the strong wind, we
Got better at your cornering.
and also learn how to lean where the wind is blowing from as well. That was what I learned there too. So
Yeah. Anyway, without further ado, we hope you enjoy this ride of Pikes Peak.
Colorado. I will give you 3 words: intense, intense, and intense. These 3 words describe the drive up Pikes Peak, Colorado. The road didn't appear that way at the beginning. A nice welcoming entrance station. A beautiful winding road through mountain forests. Even a sign to watch out for Bigfoot crossings. But that changed quickly as we ascended the mountain and moved above the timberline. The cool fall breeze was replaced by rigid gusts that threatened to blow us off the road, and it was certainly possible. The combination of elevation, weather, and road made this ride the scariest. The road itself is intense. We learned about the road from watching Ken Block take his unicorn car up the mountain on YouTube. we gained a new level of appreciation for his skill in navigating these treacherous curves. We finally made it to the top, thanks to the shuttle van that took us the final mile. At 14,115 feet. This is the highest elevation my family has been to. We could have stayed home and kept our underwear dry, but we would have missed out on making an epic memory. That is the end of our show today. I hope you enjoyed it.
Just remember to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.
Oh.
You know what they say? There's no bad weather, only bad gear. Oh my gosh, from our side.